Look back from the future, we know that goal setting is arguably the most important step to success, but let's be honest here. Sometimes setting goals the traditional way by just looking forward a year to year or even 5 years is hard. We lead crazy, busy life and we can become so bogged down in the detail of things that we cannot look up and see the future clearly with your business, your family, your work and so many other things moving so fast. It's difficult to focus on the road ahead. You spend so much time just managing what you can see, what is within your reach, and that looking into the future may be difficult. So, here is how to see the past. The daily green. Dan Sullivan, one of my mentors, taught me the following activity, and it was an immediate game changer for me and for thousands of people have shared with it. Imagine it's 1 year from today, and when you're looking back over the past year, you realize that it was the best year of your life. What does that look like to you? What would have had to happen for you to wake up every morning on a fire, free of dissatisfaction, and convinced you are not wasting your potential? As I'm writing this paragraph, I'm looking back at my future years and getting goosebumps because of what I'm envisioning. I want you to experience the same sense of excitement and think about what the best year of your life would look like and get emotional, get engaged, get engulfed, and visualize specific detail about what made it so amazing. More specifically, ask yourself the following questions when you look back at this year. How much money are you making? How much money do you have saved away for your family's security? Who are you taking care of financially? Where do you work every day? Do you have a home office or are you driving to a new location? Are you taking your existing company to the next level? Are you starting your own company? Are you evolving through the rank at your job? Do you have a better relationship with your boss? Better yet, are you the boss? How does your spouse or your partner look at you in the morning or after a long day? How do your relationship with your kids or family members look now? And what exactly does your life look like when it's a year in the future and you look back and it was the best year ever? Feel this feeling with no restriction and nothing holding you back from this real emotion. Don't say, well, I could be in a shape, but I'm so too busy to work out. Or I could start my own company, but I have to stick with this job just to pay the rent. That's looking into the future with a current obligation holding you back like an anchor. If you have not done so already, I encourage you to stop and write down your answer fast and continuously. Get specific about each area as you write. Just let it flow. You see, when you know where you are right at this moment, you possess a true starting point. Then when you take the time to look back in order to create where you want to go over the next year, you have done more than most people who are stuck in a place do. They ignore this simple habit and practice. You know who does not ignore it? Successful people. When you know where you want to go, you will start having a filter that will allow you to say no to certain friends, say no to certain obligations, say no to certain opportunity, and say no to a certain email. You will know deep down that those things are not contributing to your vision. Once you know where you want to go, you can start taking action steps toward the best year of your life, which will evolve into the best 10 years of your life, and ultimately into the best rest of your life. By doing this exercise, you will stop feeling overwhelmed. You will find more time, your stress will melt away, and all the successful people I have ever been blessed to meet or become a good friend with know where they are going in life and what their ultimate goals are. They have an inner vision that they live by, and it's time for you to get yours or take yours to another level. Once you know where you are and where you want to go, you will also find it easier to acquire sight and acquire other habit success. Identify your why. Let's move on to the next key component, the piece that makes your vision become your reality. This is the step you must complete to make it real and understand your why, and here are critical why questions you should answer. Why? Do you want to take your income from where it is to a next level? Why do you want to start your own business? Why do you want your company to evolve or to quit your job or to rise up through the rank at your current job? Why do you want your parent or your spouse to retire? Why do you want to lose weight, have more intimacy in your life, have more patience in your action, have more joy on a daily basis in life, live a life with more smiles than frowns. But when you think of having all of these things, you say to yourself, hell yeah, but why do you really want them? I know for a fact that the reason you want them are deeper than you think, and I'm going to show you how to dig those reasons out. And when you do, be prepared to be unstoppable. Maybe you will shed a few tears as well, and I know I did. And the issue with most people is that they simply don't go deep enough into their heart and soul to find out the truth about why they want what they want. It's unfortunate that our brains can so powerfully obscure what's in our heart and soul, and when you ask people what their why is, and I have asked those of my students, most will say, I want more money to have financial freedom. I want more money to eliminate debt. Or even things like, I want to lose weight so I look good. And yes, these are all good answers, but they're not sufficiently deep ones. Without a depth of purpose, you cannot push through your most challenging times. If the struggle of life are pouring down on you like a rainstorm, is I want a new house. A power is a strong enough motivation that you will ignore the storm to get what you want is I want abs, and a strong enough why to get you to the gym after a long day at work. I doubt it, but when you can attach a much deeper meaning to why, it all changes. Let me stress how important this is. Throughout this book, I promise to deliver success habits that will wow you and have you eager to put them into play in your life. But if you don't have this fundamental habit to start, then nothing else I share with you will matter. So get ready to be honest with yourself on a deeper level than before. The question we usually don't ask ourselves is, what is the purpose behind our actions? Which is crazy because it's a question we should be asking ourselves daily when we can uncover our true why. Our driving purpose is life and translate that into action. We obtain the momentum we need to push forward faster than ever. Why is your why so important? Even if I could teach a group of people how to sell $20 bills for $10, some of them would let what's between their ears stop them from succeeding. Even with something so simple, they could still talk themselves out of success and not even realize that they are self-sabotaging. Because so often, fear is the brake on our momentum, slowing us down so much that we eventually come to a complete stop. And it's for that reason that I have always been obsessed with discovering the tools, strategy, and recipe that lead to the habits that can help you demolish any obstacle. This way you don't find yourself on a cup of greatness and give up and turn around when you are just an inch away from a breakthrough. If you love the life you are in 100%, you would go back to where you were and continue living in the life you love. But you are not one of those people. You realize, or are you realizing now, that you can assess all the potential you have and that you don't have to live like others do or life how others would tell you to live. You don't want to look back in 5, 10, or 25 years and realize that you lived the same mundane day over and over again, and for most of your life, you don't want to miss out on invaluable years that you will never get back. Uncovering your story. To flesh out the stories and flush out the self-limiting belief in your life, you must move some of them to the forefront of your mind. To do this, think about in which area of your life you want to experience the biggest breakthrough. Since you are listening to this audiobook, the odds are that making more money, starting or expanding your own business, or finding work you love represent breakthrough areas for you. So stop for a moment and ask yourself why these things you desire have not happened yet. Make sure you don't filter your responses and don't make excuses, over rationalization, or go into denial. Be honest and write the reason you haven't achieved the breakthrough you desire. To facilitate this exercise, think about which of the following factors might be stopping you from breaking through, like the economy, lack of time, your boss, your employees, or your unsupportive spouse. Your education, your lack of capital, your health, your relationship. Many other possibilities exist. I list this just to get you started thinking about what stands in the way of your dreams. Focus on what comes to mind immediately when you think of why you haven't reached the point in life that you desire. What is the story you have in your head? In most cases, when you want growth in any of this area but cannot seem to find it, it means there is a story standing between you and your next level. Kind of like a wall that you can break down, but only once you realize it is actually there. And now think about the stories that poop into your head and complete the negative story. Access it at www.thebetterlife.com under the book resources tab. Can you see now how the factors from the previous chapter, the internal feeling, the lack of a deeper why, fuel these limiting stories and make them real as hack in your subconscious? Consider too how your story became a part of you, and maybe the negative news report you receive daily supported your negative story. Maybe hearing that you need to work on your weaknesses help create your story, or maybe friends bad advice and court your negative story until it become your truth and you believe. Did some stories come to mind? If they did, write them down. If not, stop reading for the moment and think of what you are holding on. And perhaps you're resisting this exercise, telling yourself, well, I don't have a story. This is reality. If that's what you think, good. Write down what you consider to be your reality and remembers. And now let's dig a little deeper and find the limiting belief that crafted this deeply embedded story. Just so you know, the stories may have been with you for many years and they may stretch back to early childhood. The crazy part is that in most cases, the stories that disempower us have been instilled in us and by the people we have encountered along life's journey. These stories create the excuses our subconscious gives us for not living up to our full potential. And by the end of this chapter, I want you to be able to dig out from under your limiting belief and stories and throw them away for good. So let me share some scenario here that hopefully can help you dig deeper and achieve more. If your grandparents went through the Great Depression, they most likely have extremely conservative belief about saving money. They might say and believe things like, you have to play it safe, you have to get a job regardless if you like it or if it aligns with the person you are. Taking a risk can be devastating. And here is the thing, people went through hell during the Depression. Many in that generation couldn't even put food on the table for their families. At that period in history, there was not much margin for error. The focus was on survival. A huge part of the population took any job they could find. If they had not saved for every penny, they could have lost everything. If that was the experience of your grandparents, they probably raised your parent with a frugal, cautious mindset. They may have instilled their Depression-era belief in your parents and they trickle down to you. Those beliefs may be holding you back and you don't even realize it. Maybe you want to branch out on your own, expand your business, or take a new job, but fear has you locked in place and you don't even know why. In this case, I know why. It's a generational limiting belief or a story that was handed down to you from your parents and the parents before them. You are living with the ideals of someone from the Great Depression even though you are not living in that period. It is simply an invisible fight, or as I have called it, the feeling within that is causing you to be stagnant. This belief can limit all areas of your life, from the religion you follow to the political party you gravitate toward, to the type of person you choose in a relationship. And your limiting beliefs are sneaky and guide so much of what you do and who you become. Wouldn't you call it crazy if someone suggested that someone else was controlling your mind? And well, in many ways, this is exactly what is happening in your life. So focus on the belief and stories that are limiting you in different ways. When you consider doing something new or challenging, like starting a business or trying to make more money or get in decent physical shape, what do you say out loud or to yourself? Write down the belief or stories that come to mind and what you want to improve. Don't worry if they repeat what you wrote earlier in the chapter, they should be similar. This is all about extracting the belief that currently guide your life. And next, write where this belief came from. If you are like many people, you will examine your stories and belief and say, wow, that's my dad's belief, and that's my college professor's belief, or that my ex-spouse belief. Even though they may have come from these people, if they live inside you for long enough, they will become your reality as well. So we need to identify them and see how artificial they are in most cases. You must say that they're not your beliefs, but readily handed to you by others. So now that you have identified them, and I want to guide you on a path to not only prove your story is not true, but also show you how to reverse it and make a new limitless empowering story that powers you toward all different types of life successes. How has it affected your life? It's possible that you don't realize just how negative the impact of your story has been. Take a moment and assess its impact by answering the following questions. Has it diminished or possibly destroyed your confidence and lowered your self-esteem? Has it made you angry or vengeful? Has it left you living with doubt, confusion, or maybe even going to therapy? Has it caused you your health, your career, your peace of mind, your relationship, or your joy? Has it stopped you from finding the real relationship you deserve or from fixing the relationship you are in? Has it prevented you from being the parent you want to be? Has it made you fearful of trying to start your own business or create more wealth with your ideas? Chances are that you answered this yes to one of or more of these questions. If so, assess and write the costs. What specifically have you been denied? What loss have you suffered? What problem have developed because of the story you tell yourself? Don't worry about writing complete sentences. Just get it all down on the paper so you have something tangible to look at. I want you to come face to face with the pain or the missed opportunity a bad story or a negative belief can bring, and therefore build even more resentment toward it and more urgency to change it. But let's go even further. Look to the future and think about what these stories will continue to cause you if you don't change them on your journey to where you want to go in life. Attraction and persuasion are crucial to making your vision and your goals become your reality, and yet they are not the final pieces of your dynamic success habit. When you add one more habit to those game changers, the trio can become the foundation for any startup business to succeed or give you the boost to reach a new level of your company. The secret success habit is managing people's feeling after the yes. Let me explain. But first, let's summarize where you are at this point. You have discovered the clarity of where you want to go in life. You have identified and purged the inner feeling. You have replaced your limiting story with a limitless story. You have come to understand the avatar of the best of you. You have discovered the one truly monumental combo that can take your wealth to the next level. The most accomplished people in the world use this millionaire success habit in their business lives as well as their personal life. But this chapter is dedicated to a secret success habit most people overlook or maybe even never even think of. And this oversight caused them to fall short. It's a habit that sets super successful people apart and it helped them understand what needs to happen after the yes, the after sales relationship, the after sale feeling, and the after sale reciprocity. I look back at my blessing and the ability to generate hundreds of millions of dollars through all my business and my brand, and I realized a lot of this success was because I obsessed about how my client felt after they said yes as a minor as this may feel like right now. Believe me, it could be the difference between this and success and blockbuster crowd. Applying a very tactical but simple process, you will understand how your client or other people in your life feel and what they deserve from you after the yes. Throughout this chapter, I'm going to be lean more toward wealth creation and business than other forms of success. But this strategy can help in every area of your life. As your success, income, and responsibility grows, you cannot neglect your happiness. If you are not consciously defending it, it can slip away. I'm going to share you with the 10 happiness habits that can make happiness the core of success, rather than success the core of happiness. And yes, you read that correctly. Happiness leads to success, not the other way around. In our society, we often think that if we have got tons of money, are the head of a profitable company, and have a lot of fame, as well as fortune, we are going to be happy. In fact, one of the biggest things that stops people dead in their track from living an actual fulfilled life is the assumption that if they find success, happiness will follow. Take your own life, for example. Have you ever thought that if you got a certain job or started your business, then happiness would result from it? Have you ever felt that once you made a certain amount of money, or once you have a wife that loves you, or a husband that loves you, or once you have a children, or once you lose weight, then you will be happy? Well, I hate to break it to you, but many people who think this way eventually find out that they're wrong. I would be doing you a huge disservice if I failed to let you in on this secret. And yes, you can attract the next level wealth with the right habit, but why deny yourself happiness? Wealth without fulfillment is emptiness. Let me help you achieve it all. And what if you have had it backward for all these years? What if happiness is the prerequisite for everything else? What if it is the prerequisite for success, abundance, prosperity, weight loss, passion, intimacy, and love? What if most of us don't really know how to be happy, but instead we think we will figure it out once we get somewhere? Think of what we tell ourselves. All I need is to get my business up and running and I will be happy, or as soon as I buy that dream house I will be satisfied. You see, most of us let our desire for external things guide us. We think once we have that new house or that new job, then we will be happy. But guess what? The excitement of external thing fades, and have you ever thought once I get a raise or to that next level of income, that is when the fun begins. Then it happens and you spend accordingly, get some new stuff, upgrade your apartment and think, I am making more money so I'm now happy. But then a few months pass and the additional income and what you bought no longer satisfies you. As much as I'm an advocate for growing your wealth and your success through the right habits, no amount of money will make you happy unless you find internal satisfaction. But combine that with more money and it's time for next level and real fulfillment. Happiness Habit 1. Define what happiness looks and feels like to you. Imagine that we are sitting in a restaurant right now and I asked you these questions. From the deepest part of you, what makes you happy? Would you have an answer? Do you know what it would be? I believe that's a hard question for all of us. And I think it's a difficult question because so many times we try and compare our definition of happiness to others. And just because someone else's definition of happiness is a sport car and mansion, does not mean it has to be your definition. And honestly, if you were to ask me that question just 5 years ago, I probably would have fumbled to come up with an answer. Back then, I don't think I was crystal clear on what happiness truly meant to me. It would be easy to say being with my kids. And even though that is true, that was a default and not a truly thought out answer. But I want you to get crystal clear of what makes you truly happy. Take the time right now and think about true, or start writing down ideas about what makes your heart smile, your eyes brighter, and causes you to build life with joy. What truly makes you happy? Come on, to this. Do not default to a few answers that have become your reflexive response. Think back to when you were a kid or earlier in your life. And did you feel at peace? What lit you up? What made you smile? Is it spending time in the woods with your kids playing games and breathing fresh air? Is it a good going to a sporting event or going fishing? Do you like being by the ocean, feeling the sand between your toes? I personally love being in the woods. I release big trees and the mountain stream. And it's probably because I grew up in upstate New York and my grandfather took me fishing a lot. He was such a great role model and someone I love dearly. When I am around nature, I'm truly happy. And if I were to take an entire day and go out into the wilderness with the big trees and beautiful clear running stream, that would provide me with an inexplicable sense of happiness. When I'm with my kids and when I feel like I'm guiding them through life the right way, that to foster happiness. When I'm inspiring people to become their very best, like now I hope. And when I'm teaching on stage and on camera, all these things give me a deep level of happiness. So what's on your list? More specifically, what's on your list today? If I were to have created this list 5 or 10 years ago, my answers would have been different. Some were materialistic and some were embarrassing, so make sure you are thinking about your present happiness. Also, don't confuse happiness with goals. I still have materialistic goals, financial goals, achievement goals. I'm not stopping my evolution, but I know the difference between goals and what makes me happy. I want to make sure you do too. The search for happiness starts by thinking through and defining the term as it applies to your current life. So try this. Jot down things without overthinking them. Don't limit your list to things you do, but also include the thoughts that make you happy. Blessing that you can be grateful for and activity that bring you joy. Write some more. Then look back at your list and circle 3 to 5 items that you feel strongly about, and those are typically your top ones. Happiness habit number 2, make the present your friend. I know I don't mean the present underneath the tree at Christmas time. I'm talking about the present day, the right now, this very moment you are living in. You have to make it your friend. So many of us go through life looking forward to tomorrow, to next week, to next year, instead of making friends with the right now. We think to ourselves, when I get this promotion, when I start my own company, when my company is profitable, when my wife truly understands me, or my husband just gets me, when my kids are out of diaper, when they go off to college, when I lose weight, then and only then I will be happy. That kind of thinking is just an excuse for pushing happiness off to some folk time in the future. But when we do that, guess what? It may never get there. That's why we have to live in the now. Why not decide to be happy now? When you say the words when or then too many times, as in, when I get that promotion, then I can finally relax and feel great about my life. All you're doing is putting your happiness on hold until tomorrow because you're mentally living in a time other than right now. And how many of us are waiting to be happy until that one certain things happens? What if we threw away that mindset and just made today our friends? What if today was an incredible day? What if we no longer lived in the past or the future, but rather decided to be happy right this second? What if we started doing more of the things that make us happy and focus on more of the thoughts that bring us joy today? Right this moment, you can decide to do this. It's your choice. How many times do you get stuck thinking about what could go wrong in the future? How many times have you thought, when I do this, then this might happen next month or next year? Then what happened? You get on the slope of negative thinking and you just go snowballing down the hill of thinking what could possibly go wrong someday. You are predicting the future, and not only that, you are predicting the negative future. The truth is that you don't know where the future is going and how things are ultimately going to end up. Of course, living too far in the future with the wrong thought diminishes your happiness today. Choose the present and choose it now. Realize that each day happened for a reason and that each moment must be seized with the present mindset. As simple as this advice sounds, consider the implication. What if you appreciated being alive and healthy and all the opportunity you have at this very moment? When you can let the past melt away, you can start focusing on a fictional future and learn to live in the moment. That's where the gratitude and happiness begin. As Eckhart Tolle wrote in his fabulous book, The Power of Now, when you live in the now, you will finally find inner peace and happiness. So no more delayed gratification. You have the right to be happy today.